This is a Thai-inspired red curry with brown rice noodles. Hi, I'm Caitlin, licensed nutritionist and food blogger behind Frugal Nutrition, and on my channel I share healthy, affordable recipes and nutrition tips. This recipe is incredibly simple. It comes together in under 20 minutes and it's creamy, delicious. It's got a rich depth of flavor from the Thai red curry paste, the ginger, and the creamy coconut milk. This total recipe comes in at about $5.45, which comes to $1.36 per serving. Let's get started. Okay, so since this recipe comes together quickly, I like to start with the noodles. Now you can use white rice noodles or brown rice noodles. There are lots of different varieties at this point. I like to use brown rice noodles and I will soak them or boil them depending on what the package instructions say. We're gonna set those noodles aside while we prepare our vegetables. First up, we have shiitake mushrooms. I wouldn't soak these, but I would just rinse them under running water to wipe away any of the dirt or debris that may be left on the mushrooms. Now, typically I do leave the stem intact. Just take a look at what you've got. If it's really woody or dirty, you can chop the bottom off. To slice these, I turn them upside down with the head of the mushroom on the cutting board. I just slice through and I slice right through the stem. You can set the mushrooms aside and we'll move on to the bell pepper. Now, there are so many ways to cut a bell pepper. We'll go over that in another video, but this is how I like to do it. I like to start at the stem, run my knife around, and then gently pull the two halves of the pepper apart so that I've exposed the inner seeds and the white membrane, and I can gently just remove them by grabbing the actual stem and pulling them off. I find that this is the method that uses the entire edible portion of the bell pepper. And since all we're doing is slicing it in this recipe, this is perfect because you can just run through each side with your sharp knife and slice them into thin strips. So next up we have our carrots. I really prefer to julienne them. I use a julienne peeler. The one you see here I actually bought when we lived in Japan from a dollar store. And if you don't have one of those, you can certainly julienne with a sharp knife or with a mandolin. And if none of those are available to you, you can shred this on a box grater, or you can slice them into thin rounds and then just cut those rounds in half, and that will work fine. Okay, next up is our ginger. I like to store my ginger in the freezer in an airtight bag. I find that this makes it much easier to work with and it lasts much longer. So if you have a microplane, grating the ginger on a microplane is the easiest option here. I don't typically peel my ginger. The reason for that is because the peel is edible. It is a little bit bitter, so if you don't like it, you can remove it. And when I'm using a microplane grater like this, excess peel will just kind of peel off, or it will grate up so finely that it's not an issue. Okay, now it's time to get cooking. Basically, you're just gonna take a large wok or skillet and put it over medium heat. Once it's nice and hot, you can add the oil of your choice. Once the oil is hot, go ahead and add your bell peppers, your julienne or shredded carrots, and your prepared shiitake mushrooms. I like to sprinkle a little bit of salt over this. You can saute the vegetables in the oil here for a couple of minutes just to develop the flavor, and it also makes the overall dish cook a little bit faster. And then I add the ginger and the curry paste. Now, one note about the curry paste here, I think it is more traditional to add the curry paste to the oil so that it can bloom and cook and develop a richer flavor. I do recommend that if you think of it, but I didn't think of it when I was filming this, even though sometimes I do it that way. Next, you can dump in your chickpeas. I've just got 1 can of chickpeas drained here. Since this is for 4 servings, 1 can of chickpeas isn't gonna provide a ton of protein over 4 servings, but it is still a nice and filling dish because you've got the brown rice noodles and the coconut milk. But it's up to you. If you want a little bit more protein, you can increase the chickpeas or even add chopped up tofu, shrimp, or chicken. Next, we add a can of coconut milk and stir it all together until everything is really well combined. Then we're just gonna bring it to a simmer. We're just gonna simmer it for about 15 minutes. Now, if you like more of a thicker stew-like consistency, I would simmer this uncovered. If you like it to be a thinner consistency, more like a soup, you can simmer this covered. While this is simmering, your noodles should be just about done, so I would just check on them. You can drain them, rinse them if necessary, and divide them among 4 serving bowls. When your curry dish has simmered for about 15 minutes, you can give it a stir, taste it, and see if it needs anything. I always like to squeeze the juice from about half a lime over the full dish, and then I'll add more lime once we've plated it. If you are planning on meal prepping this or packing this for later in the week, I do recommend storing the curry separate from the brown rice noodles. Go ahead and divide the curry amongst your 4 bowls or storage containers and top it off with some fresh cilantro and a little more lime juice. All right, that's it for this recipe. Thank you as always for being here. Please let me know in the comments below if you like this video and what other videos you might be interested in seeing. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. This Thai red curry, nope. Oh, what am I trying to say here? Oh my gosh. So, when you're, okay. Okay. Since this is a noodle-based chopped up tofu, or even add chopped up tofu, and please leave a comment and please let